Hey everyone, Giulia here from Sport Manitoba Fitness. I'm back. I'm old but new. I was away for a year on mat leave, and this is my first official class since I'm back. So I'm really excited to take you through one of my social distancing strength workouts. Hey everyone, nice to see you joining. Just a few minutes early here so we can give everyone a chance to join in on the fun. And I have it written out for everyone, which is great. So I will be posting this workout in our story, so you can check that out. The live video will also be up for several hours after, so you can always revisit, and we'll share it in our app as well. So you can definitely try it down the road, and yeah, give me lots of feedback. So I'm just gonna set this up behind me here. And throughout the workout, the majority is body weight. You can definitely use your body weight for the whole workout if you'd like. I do have some options with broomstick. I brought a good old jug of laundry detergent if you want to add weight. Another idea is also just a bag, filling it up with some cans. So lots of options. If you don't have free weights at home, you can feel free to add those on the second and third set. All right, got about 1 more minute here before we start our class. How's everyone doing today? Thumbs up, it's beautiful out. I plan to head outside after this workout and go for a nice walk, so hopefully you do too. All right, how's the music sounding over there? Is it too loud? Just give me a thumbs up if it's just right. Perfect. All right, we got about 30 seconds here. Okay, so this strength workout, like I said, you can do it all body weight. I have option 1 and option 2. So we're gonna all together try option 1. And then we have 3 sets. So on our second and third round, you can either stick to option 1, or if you wanna try to increase the intensity, you can try option 2 and 3. All right, first up we have our front plank. And this will be a low plank, so on our forearms. I got the time, so you just follow along. 30 seconds. So you'll want something comfortable. I'm borrowing my son's play mat. They're perfect. If you have a yoga mat, that works too. And we're gonna find a really strong position on our forearms. We wanna make sure that our elbows are under our shoulders. You can do this from kneeling, squeezing those inner thighs. If you wanna kick it up a notch, you can come right up onto those toes. All right, 30 seconds, starting right now.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Here we go. So we're just squeezing, breathing, just a little activation. Then we'll get into some mobility before we kick it up a notch. Just trying to wake up the body here. So we're already halfway, no problem. Make sure you're breathing, pressing into your forearms for 10 more seconds. Try squeezing your inner thighs so you can really engage the abdominals, the adductors. 3, 2, and relax. And so just coming up, we move right into a little bit of a mobility sequence now that we're starting to wake up the body. I'm choosing to do this barefoot. If you want, you can throw in some runners for some extra support. So our first movement, standing hip distance apart, is just a gentle forward fold. Just relax your head. Just see how that feels. And take 1 breath down here, deep breath, so you're breathing into the back. And then as you come up, really slowly stack the vertebrae 1 at a time. And then lift your head up, arms up. Bring our hips forward slightly. The rest of the movement is in the middle of the spine, lifting the breastbone up. This big stretch into the front of the body. And then 2 more. So again, gently folding. Just last one. So maybe a little deeper, maybe not. You have the option to bend your knees just a bit. As you come up, take that deep breath in. Head comes up last. This time we're gonna keep our arms up, interlacing those hands. Bringing your feet together, squeeze your inner thighs, reach to the ceiling, and then push your right hip to the right and then gently pull to the left. So we're stretching that whole lateral side of the body. Coming back up to center. If you want, you can have that nice deep breath in to stand. So we just have 2 more each side. Just warming up the body in all different directions. So we started some front to back, a little side to side. Last one to the left with the hip. And then separating those hands, bring the thumbs just below the shoulders. And try and keep your hips still, rotating to your left. So again, a gentle twist only in the upper body. Just gonna check out, see how that feels today. If you want to look where you're rotating, you actually might get a little bit more rotation. So we'll do 1 more in each direction. Last time, twisting to your right. And then coming to center, relax those arms. Okay, so moving into a little bit of hip mobility before we kick it up a notch. Balancing on your left foot. If you want, you can grab onto a dresser. You can also grab onto a chair if you want just a little more support for balance. I'm gonna bring that right knee up towards your chest, so with support or without, just gently pulling up. You know, that nice glute stretch. We're also waking up that left ankle for balance, stability. And then from here, we're stepping back into a low lunge. So you have the option to come onto your knee. And try and be at a nice 90-degree bend in both legs. And then squeezing that right glute, allow that hip to come forwards. Just gonna come forwards for a couple rocks. And then we'll take it a little deeper, big step. Make this a little bit more dynamic. While you're down here, go ahead and reach that left arm up, open up that chest. And then we'll try the other direction. So reaching that right arm up. And then a big step back. Try that 30-second plank one more time. So again, you can choose to come onto your knees. You can hover, knees off the ground. And here we go. So 30 more seconds just to fire up that core. So knees up or down. I want you to think of drawing the elbows towards your knees or your toes, but you're not actually moving. So you're really trying to engage. It's called a hard style plank. Last 6 seconds. And recovery. All right, so we just have to try that fun balancing act on our other side. So again, feel free to use some support. If you want to try it without support, you can too. So balancing on right, lifting that left knee up, standing nice and tall. You're squeezing your inner thighs, you're pressing into your feet. And we're going to step back into our low lunge here. So 90-90, squeeze the back glute, taking a couple rocks. And then you can take a small step forwards, get a little deeper. I'm going to make it a little more dynamic. I'm already sweating. All right, so last hard style plank today. Let me get my stopwatch here. All right, 30 seconds. Here we go. So coming onto all fours. Again, you can choose kneeling or hovering. Whatever's going to challenge you a little bit more. You want to squeeze those inner thighs. You want to make sure that you're breathing throughout. Pressing into your entire form. Shoulder joint over elbow joint. Last 5 seconds of intensity. See if you can make it a little harder. Squeezing. 3, 2, and recovery. All right. So quick sip of water before we start our really fun exercises. Like I said, 2 to 3 rounds. We'll all do option 1, and then we're gonna try some different options on the next set. All right. So we've already warmed up our front plank, so we're gonna try adding some reaches. These can be done again from kneeling or toes. So you're gonna find that same comfortable position, but this time we're gonna try it from our hands. So a nice high plank, so you can either come up onto the toes or the knees. Make sure you're plugging those shoulders down, shoulders over wrists, and then spreading your fingers a lot so you have strength in those hands. And then slowly alternating one arm at a time. If you're kneeling or standing, we're just gonna widen our base of support. Just gonna grab my stopwatch. All right, 3, 2, and give me 30 seconds of your best. So maintaining that tall spine. You can always just stick to that regular plank. Scooch over here, give myself a bit more room. So I'm halfway, working on some shoulder stability, some anti-rotation in the spine. So again, squeezing the core, squeezing the glutes gently. 3 more seconds, so 1 more reach on the other side. And time. All right. Moving on to deadlifts, one of my favorite. So I have a broomstick here. I'll show you a body weight option, but it's a good little tool just to make sure you're in the right position. So if you have the broomstick, we're gonna place it on the glutes, the mid-back, and then your head. So there should be some space in the small of the back, so you'll grab there, and then behind the neck. And your goal is to maintain contact with the broom to keep that tall posture. For your stance, we'll be standing maybe a little bit wider than shoulder width, somewhere comfortable, and your feet can be turned in or out slightly, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm gonna pause for this first rep, and then we'll go ahead and take our 8 reps. So hinging at the hips come back, and then you'll pause when your hips are above your knee joint, but below your shoulder joint. From here to stand, we'll squeeze the glutes. So you'll breathe in, maintaining contact with the broom, and then exhale, glutes. So you have 8 of those. If you don't have a broom, you can bring your hands together, index fingers touching your chin, and then thumb on the chest. And then try and maintain contact in those 2 positions. So folding, that helps to keep the head in place. And then we want to prevent rounding, so keeping that chest up. And then glutes to stand. So that's a lot of talking. I'm sure you've done your 8 already. Let's do 4 more together. So breathe in, breathe out. Tighten up the core. Exhale, I want you to squeeze those glutes for 1 split second before you take your next rep. So last one together, team. Exhale, and recovery. So we're gonna move on to some side planks. So very similar to that front plank, except working on each side. We're gonna try it from our knees, this option. So finding your form, shoulder over the elbow joint. Today we'll bring our inner thighs together touching. We're just gonna lift up and hold it for 30 seconds, starting in 3, 2, and here we go. So coming up with your free hand, you can either place that on your hip or press that into your thigh for a little more engagement. You have really tight chest, feel free to lift that arm. Again, you're squeezing those inner thighs, pushing away from the floor so there's lots of space for that shoulder. Just 10 more seconds here. These are harder than they look. 3, 2, and recovery. All right, let's try the other side. There's always one side that's a little stronger, so this is a great exercise to work on that. So again, shoulder over the elbow, knees stack evenly. Let's start in 3, 2, and give me 30 seconds. So when you're up here, you want to make sure both hip bones are stacked on top of one another. Both shoulder bones are stacked. Your free arm, either on the hip, you can feel that if there's any movement, or squeezing your thigh. Or one of my favorites is just to reach up, spread those fingers, open that chest. You only have 10 seconds. We are trying to create a little bit of tension here, so engaging fully to make it nice and challenging. And some recovery. Woo! So we're gonna keep going here. We have 3 more exercises before our break. So we're gonna move into a squat. So again, lots of options. I have a chair here, so if you're new to squatting, it's a really great place to start to move forwards here a little bit. It helps to teach you to bring those hips back. So from a chair, you would make sure your foot is planted firm. Stance is about hip bone height, maybe just a little wider. And then coming up, squeezing the glutes, and then slowly lowering down, coming up, without taking that full rest if you can. You can try the body weight squat. So just a little demo from the side here. Same idea, imaginary chair behind me, coming up, and then rising up, squeezing your glutes at the top. There's a light fold in the torso. We want to keep our gaze forwards, just a few feet ahead, keeping the shoulders back and down. That's 4. So I got 4 more. Exhale as you stand. Last 2. Last 1. And some recovery. Okay. Let's give our lower body a little break. We're going to move into some push-ups. Again, option 1, some elevation. So if you want, you can use a dresser, a table, or your chair. I'm going to find that high plank that we started with. Option to stand a little wider. Legs closer together can be an increased challenge. And then shoulders over the wrists, fingers spread. If you're on the chair or the floor or a table. Elbows back slightly. So when we bend, we want to be about 45 degrees. Just gonna turn this so you can see my elbows, that's key. Okay, so about 45 degrees. Exhale up. Breathe in, lower chest to table or chair. That's 3. Maintaining your high plank. So we have 5, so I have 3 more. I'm moving a little slower for strength today. Again, checking in, core tight, moving your high plank. Last 1. And relax your hands. Good job. So last exercise before we grab some water and try our second set with some options. It's our bird dog exercise. So again, coming back onto the floor. Start in a nice tabletop position. So shoulders over the wrists, knees are under the hips. And press into the floor. Press down with your fingertips. So option to start with just the arms, alternating. If you want to try the full version, we're going to extend our opposite arm, opposite elbow, split second hold, and then plant back in that same place where we started. So extending your left arm, pushing that right heel back, and then down. Breathe in, breathe out. And that's 2, we've got 6 more each side. We're strengthening all the muscles along the spine, so I want you to really engage the back of the body, reaching with your fingers, pushing with that heel. So I'm halfway here. 4 more. We'll add some progressions on that second round. Last 3. Last 2. And 1 more each side. So nice and slow, split second hold. All right. Go ahead and grab some water. Do about 30 seconds, and then we're going to try all those over again with some variety. Hopefully you can hear me on the floor. How's it going out there? Volume's good? Trying to use my cheerleading voice nice and loud. All right. We got about 10 seconds on the clock here. I think we'll do 2 sets today. This set may be a little more challenging. So we're gonna start off with that front plank, adding those reaches for an added challenge. So we tried this from a high style plank. So again, option from kneeling, so bringing the knees back slightly, bracing, reaching. If that felt okay, you can go ahead and come up onto your toes and try to increase the challenge. So 8 per side, starting in 3, 2, and here we go, team. So split second hold. This one's a little slower for strength today. To see if you can push into those toes a lot. That way you're not twisting when you're reaching. Every time you plant your hand on the ground, press into those fingertips. We want the hand directly under the shoulder. Getting a little harder this round. 2 more each arm. And the nice thing with body weight, you can always adjust mid-exercise, so you don't have to stop. All right, so that was 8 per arm. We'll go right into our deadlift. So again, you can use body weight with the broom or your hands. You want to add an increased challenge. I got my bag of cans here. So if you missed that at the beginning of class, I just filled a bag full of cans with some extra weight in hand. You want that weight to just hang so it's nice and loose in your arms. A little bit of grip around the bag or the laundry jug. Stance is the same, so shoulder width may be a little wider if that's more comfortable. We're pressing into the feet a lot. And here we go for 8. So hinging at the hips. Hips are above the knees, below the shoulders. And then exhale. 1 second squeeze at the top. Breathe in, lower, keep the core tight. You put in that effort, you'll definitely feel more strength over time. Sometimes it's easy to just move passively through the motions, but I want you to really engage at the top for these last 2. Exhale. Gazing a few feet ahead. Keep that posture. Last one. And relax. A little fast and loose, a little shake in between. We're moving on to our side planks. So you have the option to just stick to that classic stacked side plank. Knees on top of knees, shoulder over elbow. You want to increase the challenge. We're going to extend our top leg, and then we're going to raise it. I'm going to try not to twist while we're trying this movement. So you might only get a few reps for 30 seconds, but you can always come back to that first option. 3, 2, and here we go. So I'm starting in option 1, finding that really good place, feeling pretty strong. I'm going to extend my right leg, my top leg, squeezing my outer glute, raising that leg without twisting. So it's a lot less of a movement than you think. So I only have 10 seconds. You can either keep going, maybe you want to come back together for the last 3, 2, and recovery. So we're going to spin right into the other side. Less break this time. I'm going to start in 3 seconds here. So find that strong high plank position. Option to extend that left leg, and here we go. So it's 30 seconds total. Tip is to keep that moving leg, that toe facing the floor slightly. That way we're not twisting out when we're lifting our leg. We're working that whole lateral side. So still focusing on pressing into the floor. Got 5 seconds here. So option to squeeze, to end strong. 2, 1, and recovery. Woo! All right. Moving into squats. So again, option to add something. that's also a nice, quick, easy option. Something where I can place my fists around nice and fully. So maybe a medium-sized towel works well. I'm just gonna pull that. So when I do that, I'm gonna engage all the muscles in my back, so all my postural muscles. So I'm gonna find my squat position. So something comfortable, keeping the towel or the broomstick parallel to the floor, and then sitting back into that imaginary chair. So this really increases the intensity. Breathe in as you lower. Find your end range, and then glutes at the top. So this is option 2, adding the towel. You want to make this a little harder, you can bring your arms overhead. Try to maintain that position as you lower. So I have 3 more. Just 8 of everything today, nice and simple. Last one, maybe a little hold here. Let's try it, team. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax those shoulders, relax those legs. Moving right into push-ups. So I started up nice and high. I'm gonna take mine just a little lower. So just using a chair. You have the option to take it all the way to the floor. 8 push-ups from your high plank position. Stands a little wider than shoulder width, or if you want to increase the challenge, bring your feet together for 8. So breathe in, lower the body, and then breathe out. Elbows are back, so about 45 degrees. If you're using a chair, you might be a little closer to your body. You hit those triceps a bit more. That's okay too. Last 2, use your breath. Little power on the way up, nice and slow. On the way down. Woo! Recovery. I got 1 more for my second option. So coming down onto the floor, that really fun bird dog quadruped we tried. So we were alternating last time. You can stick to that, or if you want to try to increase the stability challenge, we're going to stick to one side at a time. So finding tabletop, spreading your fingers a lot. Going to go ahead and reach that right arm forwards, left leg back. And then maybe you're going to bring the elbow towards your knee. And then back into that extended position. So that's 2. If you're teetering, just come back to alternating. We'll say that was 3. So we're halfway here on one side. Unilateral training, so we're training opposite sides. Help to build that symmetry in the body. 1 more big reach, little hold here, challenge yourself. And recovery. Just sitting back for a second before we reset side 2. So strong tabletop, shoulders over the elbow, fingers spread, knees under hips. Left arm up, right leg back. Option 2, connect it, elbow towards knee, or move into that alternating. Side's a little harder for me. So again, you have asymmetries in the body, that's totally normal. When we even out the body, we help prevent injury. So I'm going to move through 4 more of these, even though it is a little harder for me on this side. Breathing. So you want to find that rhythm with your breath. I'm coming to rep number 8. I'm going to hold that. 5, 4, try not to teeter. And recovery, little child's pose. Sitting back. Coming up, we'll grab some water before we start to slow things down and cool things down. I'm going to come in and check on you here. How's everyone doing? Nice, I'm sweating. This would have been a great day to open those windows. Maybe I'll try that next week. Hi. Some familiar names. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna start to slow things down. This is one of my favorite parts. It helps to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you relax. Sometimes that's hard to do, especially with all the crazy stuff that's going on. So let's slow down a bit, focus on our breathing so we can get into a nice deep stretch. I'm just gonna come back to the floor. I'm gonna start with a little bit of cat-cow. So find that tabletop position. I want you to curl your toes just to stretch the arches of your feet. Lift your tailbone, lift your breastbone, and then lift your head, but without throwing your head back. So just a little natural curve into the spine. Now relax your feet, press them down, pull the ribs up, pull the belly up, and let the head hang completely. And we're gonna move back and forth, so breathing in, take 2 more. When you exhale, see if you can push into the floor. Separate those blades, let that head hang. 1 more. And then exhale, find that full range. Before we get too comfortable, move into a frog pose. So this one's a really great hip opener. It's kind of a love-hate. Some people find it uncomfortable at first, but over time, they tend to really love it. So again, make sure you have something comfortable underneath your knees. If you want, you can even grab a towel just for a little extra cushion or support. Or you can come back into tabletop. And then bring our knees just a little bit uncomfortably wide. And then let's start with our toes touching. And then we're gonna sit back. And then pull ourselves forwards. Get a little deeper by coming onto your forearms, so sitting back. Pull yourself forwards. So we'll take 1 more rock just like that. Oh, I got a little visitor coming in. Hi, Alexander. You want to come stretch? Hello. Hi, sweetheart. This is Alexander. Alexander, say hello. We kept him upstairs for the workout, but he likes to crawl all over me when I'm working out or stretching usually. Say hello. Say hi. We're gonna show everyone a nice low lunge here, Alexander. So after your frog pose, just to get those hips, you can come into a half kneeling position, similar to where we started for warm up, but this time we're gonna hold it. So squeezing that back glute, allowing the hips to open. You missed our workout, buddy. What's mommy doing with the broomstick, eh? Is that what you're looking for? All right, Alexander, let's try the other side. So stepping forwards with your other leg. Say hello. Squeezing that back glute. Just demo from the side here. So you want to squeeze your left glute. That's going to tilt the pelvis, get that hip flexor. This is really nice because you can really focus on your breath with your chest up. Let's take some deep breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. A little dancing. And you're on the move. All right, so keep stretching at home. There's no rush, no timeline. I want to thank you for tuning in for my first strength class. And I will be here next week. We will be posting that workout as I mentioned. So my challenge for everyone is to try that exact same workout 1 more time before I see you next week. And we also added a couple new classes. So Tuesday, Thursday evenings with Shannon, we have a core class and a circuit class. So we'll have 5 classes a week, all 30 minutes. And yeah, you can tune in next week. And also one last thing, if you have any feedback, that really helps us out. So thank you so much. Feel free to comment below. We'll definitely get back to all your feedback and messages. And yeah, have a great weekend. Say bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in. All right, team, we'll see you next week.